is there anything called domestic violence in Islam? If yes, what is the punishment in Islam? Domestic violence has nothing to do with Islam. And domestic violence is an act, it's action, of course, it's acknowledged. Everyone knows there is domestic violence. So in Islam does not mean anything here. But the question can be, is there a punishment? Yani, is there a punishment for domestic violence? Yani, domestic violence is real. It is not imaginary. It is present even in Muslim societies, unfortunately, because the rights of women are great in Islam. We have been reminded by Quran and Sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ, even while leaving this dunya, he reminded us about the rights of women and taking care of the woman because of the responsibility or the authority Allah has given us. And if we still abuse the rights, this is unfortunate and sad. Okay, maybe people who don't have these ahkam, they don't have these beautiful rulings, they abuse and they transgress the limits, that is understood. But we Muslims, we have been reminded. So domestic violence is real and it destroys families, it destroys people, there is no doubt. But what is the punishment? The punishment can be ta'zir. We have punishments are of two types, hudud and ta'zirat. Had is a punishment which has been mentioned in the Quran or Sunnah in the texts, and a limit has been set to it. For example, the had of zina, Quran mentions it. The had of fornication, Quran mentions it. And Quran has given a limit, or Quran has also described its form, like 100 lashes. Okay, so this is had, because had in Arabic means limit. We don't cross it. We have to stick to it. And in some, so these are the hudud in Quran and Sunnah in the texts. And the second type is ta'zir. Ta'zir is a punishment which is according to the opinion of an authority, whether a scholar or a mufti or a political authority, a judge. He can base it on his opinion. But there are some dawabit, there are some rules or some conditions for ta'zir. I will not go into that. For example, one condition is it should not exceed had, or it should not transgress the had. For example, if the maximum had in Islam is 100 lashes, so it has to be less than 100 lashes. It should not exceed had. This is one condition. I will not go into the conditions. Some conditions are disagreed upon. There are some sins which carry punishment in Islam, but the scholars have disagreed. Is this punishment had or ta'zir? For example, consuming alcohol, drinking alcohol, the punishment of alcohol is 80 lashes. Is it had or ta'zir? The scholars have disagreed. So there can be ta'zir. There can be ta'zir, but of course, these ahkam will be implemented when we have an Islamic system, when we have justice in the society, when we have laws for that. So there should be a law for domestic violence. But of course, when those who make these laws, they have to be balanced. They must be visionary, because a law can be abused also. Okay, so lawmaking in Islam is permissible in the area where we don't have anything specific in Quran and Sunnah. If we have specific ahkam like had, we cannot change it. For example, the had of zina is 100 lashes for unmarried adulterer. We cannot change it to 6 months in prison. We cannot change these ahkam. But the area which is open, we can legislate in that based on, but of course the legislation should be based on the principles of Quran and Sunnah.